Hello, my biddies. How are you? How are you today? I'm good. I just wanted to hop on and do our show from that we missed from a week ago last Friday. I believe it was. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago last Friday. I'm not sure. But I kept it. So I'm gonna do it today. The man is back in Kazoo, working on the house. Big push to get it done so he can get on the market and get rid of it and so I can get paid for all the work he's doing on it. My Coke Zero is perfection right now. It's the perfect temperature. I put it in the freezer before I open it. I thought it would put it in too long. I was afraid. I was very afraid it was going to be frozen Coke, but it was not. So I was very happy. I will not be on tomorrow. I have the boys. I have my baby boys. They're so cute. I bought a new swimsuit today. I My old one is crunchy. Like how fast or the elastic gets old and it gets crunchy. Yeah, think I deserved a new swimsuit. So I bought a new one. I bought an actual like one piece one, but then I bought a skirt to go over it because I don't like my thighs. Nobody should have to see that. It's not attractive. Only my husband has to see that occasionally. And then I was walking through the store and I saw a light little cover up thing matched perfectly. So I bought that too because I deserve some things once in a while. I'll take it out of my budget. It's fine. My husband doesn't know I have a budget, but I have a budget. So anyway, that's what's been going on. My husband slept like all day yesterday. I guess my son worked on his car all day yesterday, so neither one of us women's got any interaction with them at all. It's okay. Yeah, I got home Friday night, tired and sore, and then yesterday he basically slept all day, which is what he does when he gets like manual labor tired. Manual labor tired is not good for him. Didn't sleep good again because he tried to sleep on a blow up mattress, and I don't know what it is about the blow up mattresses, but they just do not work as anticipated. So so he was tired. He was physically exhausted. And he says he's going to be there now until it gets done. So he said maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. I don't know when he's going to be back. That's okay. We got other things to do. I got the kids tomorrow, all afternoon and into the evening, which is fine. I like them. I like them. They're fun. They're fun. They entertain me. But they don't pick up like they did last week, though. I bet you BW is not in the mood to pick up like he was last week. Guarantee you. It was nice. I was proud of him. So I got no, I'm still working on that other project, so I have no time for reality TV. So and I'm almost done with it. So I'm hoping that I get done with it. Then I have to do next month's stuff. Then maybe I'll do a little bit of reality TV before I dive into another little project I want to do. So many hobbies, so little time. Well, anyway, our first read is from the subreddit Traumatized and Back, and it's entitled Ignore My Basic Health Needs, I'll Accidentally Fake My Own Death. At the time, I was like 8 or 9 with an actual passion for school. So one Tuesday, I started feeling nauseous. I couldn't even walk in a straight line as I was tumbling and knocking things over. My parents brushed it off as me being dramatic. Why do people do that? Like when your kid tells you they don't feel good and they're acting like they don't feel good. Why do you think they're being dramatic? They're being sick. And it's okay to be sick. People get sick. Although I'd have no motive to avoid school that day. After a long lot of arguing and not very well on my side due to circumstances, like you were 8, I'm sorry. They just dismissed me to go take a bath and aggressively insisted that they'd get me to school for second period no matter what. I struggled my way to the top of the stairs and to the bathroom. I turned on the water and the water build up to a comfortable level and then slid myself halfway in between pulling back out. The movement of the water was just making me more nauseous. I don't know why, but maybe related to my seasickness. No, you were just nauseous, sweetie. I put my bathrobe on and told my mom I couldn't bathe as it was making me feel so much worse. But she framed it as you're just going trying to avoid going to school. I'm not that stupid. OP, but nice try. You can see where this is heading. I went back to the tub, snot crying at this point, just half mindedly jumped in. Cue the vomit. Anyways, this wasn't a pleasant situation. I passed out from all the stress. Oh, you poor baby. I woke up to my mom screaming in the hallway, half conscious of my surroundings. My sister was oogling me as if I grew a tail, and my dad was running up the stairs. So it turns out I hadn't woken up from my mom's first round of screams, so she thought I was dead. Good. Good. She's a terrible parent. She deserved that. I think she came in after not hearing me in a while and just saw me laying there. My sister ran over to help comfort my mom, but honestly, she had it coming for her. Don't ignore health issues in a small children, especially if you don't suspect any motive. Needless to say, I did not get to second class or any more on that day. I remember one day in third grade, which is about that same age. I went to school, I felt fine. I must have had norovirus because we got to lunch and I looked at my lunchbox and I puked all over everything. My grandpa came and got me. I mean, I didn't feel sick before I looked at the food, which is basically how I act when I have norovirus. I like it happened last year. Well, a year ago last December. Um, I felt fine. I ate my lunch. I went to make dinner. I looked in the fridge and I'm like, "Oh, nothing looks good." And I feel kind of sick. And it did not get better from there. Shoot, I forgot to close that door. Vinyl Highway says WTF is wrong with parents. 100%. Um, staple your tongue answers. Try having a parent who's a nurse. You are not actively dying in front of their eyes. Answers, you're fine. True story. I've seen that. Tree Hugger says my husband's mom was a nurse. The stories he tells confirms as well. Silver Leonid says my mom is a nurse and I had to have diarrhea, vomiting, or a fever over 100 to stay home. My dad, on the other hand, was a pushover. Section March is the next top rated comment, and they say I literally couldn't imagine leaving my sick and disoriented child to bathe by themselves. Like, if they ask for privacy, fine. I'll be right outside the door chatting with them and make sure they're okay. I feel the same way about my adult friends, etc. Though passing out in the tub is no joke. No, it's very dangerous. You can die that way easily. And Yeo says I cannot imagine doing this even to an adult. When I'm ill, take a bath and stay still and quiet for too long. My partner asks through the door if I'm all right. I do the same for him. It's normal for us. OP says answers they told me they checked about 5 to 10 minutes after I went in. My face was out of the water, but yeah, it was really unsafe move. OP is the third top rated comment says, our relationship is good to this day. I think this really shook her into taking me seriously. It should definitely not have come to this, but I'm very glad it's improved. Stray Star says, I had a moment like that, but it didn't happen until high school. I was a sickly kid, lots of allergies, janky immune system. Bug bites have always reacted spectacularly for me. I can relate to that. There is a certain bug that bites me mostly in the spring and fall, sometimes in the summer, usually not in the winter though. It itches for days. Oh, I mean bad. bad. It just it'll drive you nuts. And no, it's not bed bugs because it doesn't act like bed bugs at all. It doesn't even really, well, I guess it kind of might look like bed bugs a little, but it's not. It's not because I would be bitten way more if it were bed bugs. Plus, other people would be affected. So it's not that. I don't know what it is, but it's not that. I told my mom before I drove myself to school that there was something wrong with the mosquito bite on my arm and it hurt really bad. It was red and swollen from my elbow to halfway down my forearm, all on the outside of my arm with a little black spot where the original bite occurred. That's a spider bite, sweetie. She glanced at it and told me to rub cream on it and get to school. That's a spider bite, like the nasty kind of spider bite. The spider bite that will eat your flesh alive. Second period, I smack it on the door frame and go to the nurse for ice. The nurse took one look at my arm and sat me down where she could watch me, called my mom and read her the riot act. That nurse was pissed and ordered my mom to come get me and take me to the ER. It was cellulitis. Okay, it was cellulitis, which left untreated will turn into necrotizing fasciitis, aka flushing disease. By the time we go to the ER, my entire forearm was swollen and I couldn't bend it from the pain. My mother was mortified and kept me home for a few days to rest and eat ice cream. She felt so bad, she even got me a new video game. That's a good mom. I mean, you can make mistakes like that. It's not like nurses where they have broken bones and unless they're sticking out of their arm, they don't take them to the doctor right away. They do eventually, usually, as far as I know. Um, but a kid with a little bite or something. Now, maybe she didn't notice how bad it was because angles and stuff happen. Um, but yeah, that's a good mom. She's okay. She made up for it. Tinfoil Deer says cellulitis is no joke. I had it on my cheekbone once, just under my eye, and it was excruciating. The first night I had to sit up while trying to sleep because lying down just made it worse. I was very close to tears most of that day and night. I usually avoid going to emergency due to the fact that I don't want to take the place of someone who really needs it. But my GP took one look at my face and sent me straight there with a letter explaining what was going on, what was wrong. When I got there, I was very quickly admitted for IV antibiotics and they gave me some pain relief too. The doctor explained if the cellulitis is not dealt with quickly, it spreads. And the fact that it was so close to my eye got me admitted ASAP. I'm really glad I listened to the GP that time. Stray Star says, I've had cellulitis at least 8 times. This was just the first one. Holy cow. That's crazy. That's a lot of times to have. So there's something going on. I hope I hope Stray Star gets checked out because that's not right. Having cellulitis 8 times. That's insanity. Next we have What Should I Do? And it's entitled Muslim Roommate Eats My Food but Didn't Know It Had Pork Product in It. Should I tell him? Okay, there's this thing that I understand about Muslims eating pork. If it's an accident, they're they'll be okay with it. Accidents happen, and they realize that, from what I understand, unless you have some nut job. So yeah, I think you should tell him just in case. He might want to know to avoid your food, but I don't think he's going to get all bent out of shape. He shouldn't get all bent out of shape about it. For context, my roommate and I have a very relaxed fridge policy. We take each other's general food items, bread, cheese, milk, um, or if someone has prepared a lot of cooked food like pasta with red sauce, chicken, and rice, or in this case, mashed potatoes. Oh, she probably had gravy or something. Oh, no, bacon. We try to ask before you eat, but neither of us really cares as long as it's not excessive. I cooked a ton of bacon Saturday morning, can't pour the grease down the drain, so I poured it in a cup. Then a day or two later, when making mashed potatoes, I decide to swap the butter for bacon lard. Relax. Potatoes are unsurprisingly fantastic, so I eat a bunch and then store the rest in the fridge. Go to work in the morning, come back, and roommate has eaten some of my potatoes. There was no forewarning by him that he was going to eat them, or from me to him that the potatoes contain bacon. If it matters, he drinks alcohol, and he's the only Muslim things I see him do are Ramadan, and problematically for this situation, not eating pork. I don't hold any religious beliefs myself, and I'm not wholly familiar with common practices of Islam. We are very good friends and have been roommates for multiple years in various places. I totally blanked on telling him they contained pork product, which I agree is not great. But this was completely unintentional. Should I tell him anyway, or just sort of suggest being more communicative about sharing food? Mezzanine Soprano says, I would tell him, but he may or may not care. I used to date a Jewish guy who kept kosher at home but would eat pork barbecue when we went out. Yeah, and there are Jewish people like that. I have a good friend that's Jewish, and um, she married into it. She married a Jewish guy and converted, but she has him eating uh, bacon. He eats bacon on the regular now. Um, something else, some other pepperoni, pork pepperoni. So he'll eat that now. He'll eat pepperoni pizza, which even if it's which is a double no no because pepperoni there's beef pepperoni and pork pepperoni, and you can't have beef with cheese. Muslims can't eat beef with cheese, so, they can't have beef pepperoni and they can't have pork pepperoni. So they get no pepperoni unless it's, like, that crappy turkey pepperoni. He eats that, but he'll eat it now. He'll eat it on pizza, and he'll eat bacon. Catty Cake answers that one, says, "A friend of mine that says that's why he's Jew-ish. He eats bacon and pork." Ain't It So Sweet says, I dated a guy in high school who was Hindu. He did not eat beef at home around his very strict Hindu parents, but he would go get a cheeseburger um, from the McDonald's across the street from school every day. Silver Significant said, Married to a Hindu with strict Hindu parents, my husband's favorite thing in the world is steak." So, yeah, the kids tend to not be as, at least nowadays, kids tend to be less strict about stuff than their parents are. I freaked out my Jewish coworker once by asking him if his father was a two dishwasher Jew. He said yes, confirmed. Inside Zombie is the second highest rated comment. And it said, I'd let him know in a casual way. Just open the fridge and be like, oh no, man, did you eat the mash? I used leftover oils from the bacon cooking that and that. Are you okay with that? Maybe just check with me first to make sure the food is okay for you to eat it. Or if you're relaxed about the rule, then no worries. Tangy Lynn says, if he cares enough, easy enough to put a post-it note on items of pork in the future. Yeah, that's true. Inside Zombie says he shouldn't have to do that, though it's not his responsibility. Yes, but it's kindness. See, it costs you nothing to be kind to people. Bonth says, tell him it sounds like an accident. It's not a sin to consume pork if it's an accident or if he would starve without it. It would be disrespectful not to let him know. That's 100% what I said. Redcoat Wright says, yeah, it's not, in my limited understanding, mine too, is not that terribly problematic if truly an accident. Long Charity says, accidents don't count and is forgiving. So he'll be fine with it. He should be fine with it. It was an accident. It's not a big deal. That's how it should be for people. If it's not, that's a problem because that person is way too radical. Next, I have malicious compliance, and it is entitled Customer Always Found a Mistake, so we complied. This goes back to around 1990s. I was an independent designer for a few different printing businesses in the south suburbs of Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, back in the bad days. Back then, the computers were fairly new, and print shops were old school. Those inserts you found in newspapers, they were still hand lettered back then. I designed brochures, flyers. I swear we read this one. Yeah, we read that one. I got mixed up on one the other day, and I read some of the ones that I shouldn't have read because I am not a perfect person. This is what is this? The Villain's Condo. That does look pretty evil. That looks pretty rad. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Why don't we make buildings like this anymore? They're absolutely beautiful. They're gorgeous and I love them. Towering between two normal city buildings, I could spawn there after forbidden ritual. um, this building is in Taiwan. It's a private building owned by a real estate company owner. It's on Fuxing Road. Fuxing. Fuxing. Taco Prophet says this is the good kind of evil. Yes. Oh, we get to see the inside. Actually, we're not going to look at the inside because that's not a good link. Not a good link to the inside. It's a link to a it's a link to a Google search. So no. Next we have AITAH. It's entitled AITAH for being honest with another mom about why my daughter isn't allowed to go to her friend's house. I'm gonna throw away because my daughter uses my maid for other subs. I really need an outside opinion because my family tells me I'm right, but they also don't have to deal with the awkwardness here. I have a daughter, Elena, who is 13. 13-year-olds can be told almost anything. They are very intelligent. They are almost grown. The more you talk to them like they're an adult, the more they'll act like they're an adult. Elena has a friend called Kennedy who is new at school this year. Kennedy's mom works in the school office, becomes kind of relevant later. So our house is kind of the house. Elena doesn't have a big group of friends, but as long as the kids can get their own snacks and not make noise, everyone's welcome. Because of this, Elena never really goes to anyone else's house. All her friends come to us. We've even hosted her friends' birthday sleepovers, and I think we read this too. Yeah, we read that too. I don't know why. This is going to be a short episode. Now I'm reading ahead. Okay. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled How Do I Handle My Rude Elderly Neighbor with Unrealistic Noise Expectations? We bought our first house this summer. My neighbors are all old for the most part, no biggie most of the time. However, my one neighbor likes to go to bed at like 7 p.m. Just because you have a 7 p.m. bedtime does not mean the world stops. If we use our hot tub after they go to bed, they complain that they can hear us open and close our hot tub. Oh, well. Get a noise machine. They also complain they can hear us talking. We're not having a party. It's just a couple of people speaking at normal volume in our hot tub. He will open the window and yell at us. Tonight I had some friends over to see the house for the first time at 8:30 after dinner. I showed them the backyard, maybe outside for 3 minutes. Adults just standing around the yard talking about how nice the landscaping is and that we can see the stars. Neighbor once again opens the window, starts screaming at us for be quiet. To be quiet, sir. It is 8:30 p.m. on a Friday night. We have an outdoor fire pit. Last summer he would yell at us for using it while it was still daylight at 8 p.m. I really have had it with this guy and fear that by complying with his screaming, I've set a precedent. City law says I can make reasonable noise before 10 p.m., and I don't think I'm being unreasonable. Actually, you can make reasonable noise after 10 p.m. You can make unreasonable noise before 10 p.m. There's a decibel, there's all kinds of stuff. Trust me, I know. We had to go to court on this. Not that it mattered because the cop never showed up. Yes, we got a noise ordinance violation. The magistrate was like, I've never even seen one of these. What the heck? Like, well, you saw one today, and we got a stack this big of papers. This big, like a stack that big of paperwork. Notes from our neighbors in the back that were actually closer to the noise. Notes from two other neighbors on either side of him, all saying they weren't being loud. They weren't being loud. They were fine. But this one jerk, it happened once when, I mean, even the the old folks home complained, but it was before 9 p.m. and they were quitting. They had a screamo band. I think it's called 100 Hammers or something like that. I always forget. I always forget what they have a Taylor Swift cover that's really good, and they have their own song that's super good. I don't think they exist anymore. At least my son's friend that was in it. My son would drum for them sometimes, play drums for them. Um, it's a loud band. It's a loud band. Cop showed up. Cop says, Cop says, I have your CD in the car. Will you sign it? So clearly they weren't getting a noise violation that day. And then he called again later on because uh because they were in the garage. Somebody turned on a car. Somebody turned on a car and their music in their car was loud. And it woke the guy up again. And he gets mad. So he calls the cops again. And the cops are like, it's not that loud. I'm not giving them a citation, even though he wanted them to. So then 3 years later, when my daughter had her 21st birthday party, he calls the cops. Now, they weren't being loud at all that time. The cop didn't want to give him a ticket, but my son took the fall and gave him the ticket. I was here that then. I mean, I was sleeping and I'm a light sleeper and I wasn't awakened by them at all. So it wasn't that loud. It just wasn't that loud. So we got affidavits from everybody else. I was willing to talk. Like I was sleeping through it. We were home. We knew what was going on. We were home and it was not that loud. It was just not that loud. But the cop never showed up. Another cop came in, he was like, "Who are you waiting for?" And he told him, he goes, "Oh, he ain't gonna be here." He probably just went home because he had a accident during rush hour this morning, and he just got done with the paperwork for that. He's not gonna come to this. Wait a little bit longer. They let us go. That guy has since moved, and the new neighbors are really really nice, and we like them. Okay, so sorry about that. City law says I can make reasonable noise before 10 p.m., and I don't think I'm being unreasonable. I like to enjoy my hot tub and have friends over at the home I own. There is no HOA. How do I handle my rude elderly neighbor with unrealistic noise expectations? The real chuckle. Air horn? When he opens his window, as soon as he opens his mouth, give him a little honk, and then every time he tries to speak. K dollar sign says, I would pay a lot of money to witness this. My kitten Bert says, I'd buy tickets and popcorn. Paper says, I'll bring camp chairs. Can I get some s'mores in here? We need some s'mores. It is a campfire after all. Second top rated comment is print out the city regs for a noise. Hand it to him and tell him that any more of his outbursts, you'll call the police and charge him with harassment. I don't know what her orgs say, um, or her regulations, I mean, say, but ours say that you can be as loud as you want as long as it's not amplified. If you want to scream in the middle of the night, you can, as long as it's not an amplified, as long as it's not an amplified voice. So the kids can run around screaming. We used to do it when I was a teenager. One of our favorite things to say, play was to go out in the backyard of one of my friends who had a really long, narrow backyard and play Ghost in the Graveyard and chase each other around. Teenagers, what are you gonna do? We had fun. We had fun time. Print out the city regs for noise, hand it to him, and tell him that any more of his outbursts, you'll call the police and charge him with harassment. Then ignore him. Then blow the air horn. Kelly Direction says needs more cowbell. So I love Reddit. The third top Reddit comment is let him yell. Eventually, he will either quit or fruitlessly call the police. It's his problem, not yours. Mary Feather says, you're right. I'm an old person used to the quiet and noisy family of 5 moved in next door. I'm fortunate that most of the noises are brief, except for the ones where they're building, etc., is occurring all day. I realize that these are life noises and I best get used to them. This poor neighbor needs to learn that. Perhaps a calm but firm talk can would help this guy. Curly Mo on on water. That's weird. I'm pretty sure it's a Three Stooges reference, but I don't get the rest of it. This is the way. The neighbor isn't used to this noise level for some reason and is being all crotchety about it. Buckle up and talk to him. Tell him you want to be a good neighbor, but that means normal, reasonable life noises are part of the deal. Show him the noise ordinance. If he continues to go to the harassment route, do your local police and community officer who might be able to intervene. Sonderbury, and we're going to number 4 on this one. I had a similar situation until I finally lost my crap and challenged the guy. Being a young guy in a condo building full of miserable geriatrics was a total pain in the butt. I tried to be respectful, never had music on, rarely had guests, but the passive aggressive notes and condescending comments were consistent. It was my birthday, and I was coming home with a few friends around 8 p.m. Old guy, screw you, Harold, leaned out and shushed us for talking as we were walking in. This was the final straw, and I snapped. I went straight to to my balcony, diagonal to his, where he would stare into my house, and I told him that if he had a problem, he could meet me outside. I believe my exact words were, "Get your walker, call your boys. We can do this right now." He never said a word to me after that. Sometimes diplomacy isn't always the way to solve a problem. That's true. Harold, grow up. You're juvenile. Next, we have Benign Existence, and it is entitled, My Mom Has Always Kept Her Recipes in Her Head. Today we finally wrote one down. My mom is 80 and an amazing cook, but she has never liked writing recipes down. She speaks English, but she's always more comfortable in Gujarati? Gujarati? I don't know. I don't know that one. Do not know that one. Let's look it up. Oh, it's in India. Okay. It's one of the Indian language. um, Today we were in her kitchen making cake, mixing bowl out flour everywhere. Her old weighing scales on the counter. She was explaining the way she does this. A little bit of this until it looks right. Now feel the mixture. I let her talk while she baked and captured what she was saying. Afterwards, I showed it back to her, written out properly in their language. She read it and smiled. That's right. For the first time, one of her recipes is written down. Just a normal afternoon in a kitchen, but I feel like we saved something small. Oh, that's nice. I may be a little guilty of that. I don't write things down either. Sometimes I don't even do a recipe that I made up in my head. It doesn't even translate the next time. Like that mixture I did the other day. I don't know if that's going to come out the next time. It's really good the other day though. Really, really good. Next we have Found Satan, and it's entitled, Now That's Something Gru Would Do. I think we may have seen this, but I knew my girlfriend was going to dump me, so I set up a profile called Add Profile on her Netflix account, and 3 years later, I'm still watching. She messed up. She changed her login. Mostly Bacon Boys, the second top comment. The first one was kind of lame. Years ago, my best friend, now former brother-in-law, did some of the crappy stuff to her and her sister, and afterwards blocked all of us on social media and unfriended us. We had given him he had given me access to his Netflix, and he didn't think to change the password and kick me off. So I started watching a bunch of LGBTQ themed movies, think Brokeback Mountain, Below Her Mouth, Better Than Chocolate, and kids animated movies, so that it would change his recommendations and now show all of his random stuff on his watch history. Not only was this done to annoy him, but his new girlfriend apparently questioned why he was watching a bunch of gay stuff in kids' movies. It took a month or so before he changed his password and kicked me off the account, but it was fun while it lasted. And deleted says R found Satan. I love it when I think I reread that one too, but it's okay. Just No Mill, and it is entitled, Mother-in-law Thinks My Baby Is Her Daughter. Hello, I'm new here, so I've been with my husband since high school. I am now almost 30. My mother-in-law was super weird with my husband when we first started dating as teens, calling him my little boy and trying to make him cuddle her in front of me. That's gross. It's gross. Stop. Stop. Um, that kind of weird stuff to do in front of his girlfriend. He's an only child, by the way. Anyway, as we were dating and got older, he set boundaries and got her to stop doing this weird stuff, especially in front of me. She immediately gave me the ick vibes when I met her, and she said all this weird stuff in front of me, so I've always been cautious of her. All was well, and then until now. We had our first baby girl, a few months ago, and where do I start? When she was first born, she stayed in our state for a month to help us with the new baby. She lives in another state. We have a big family, so a lot of visitors came to look at the baby and meet her. So far, far away, so she wouldn't get sick. And my mom came over a few times when she was over. She had her husband tell my husband she does everything through him so she doesn't look like the bad guy. That when you are visiting the baby, we don't want anyone to interfere with our time with the baby. Since we're over, it's our time with her. I saw my youngest, I don't know, the oldest grandson at my son's house with our family and his family were both there. Nobody got mad about whose time it was with the baby. That's silly. Funny she's not your baby, and I'm not making a schedule of seeing the baby for your convenience. A few weeks after the baby was born, I asked my mom to babysit her for a few hours while me and my husband had to do something, and she threw a massive fit. She again had her husband tell my husband that he was extremely rude and inconsiderate for not asking her if she watched to watch the baby. Okay, ma'am, this is your son's child, and I hate to tell you this, but a lot of times it's natural for the mom to make arrangements for childcare, and the mom usually will ask her own family first, just out of like familiarity. Nothing, wrong with it. It's just a natural thing to do. It doesn't mean, and no, you don't get to watch the baby just because you're throwing a fit. Actually, that will stop you from watching the baby. A few weeks after the baby was born, oh, never mind. When the baby was only a few weeks old, I was breastfeeding with a blanket over the baby and she was leaving. She leaned over into the baby and kissed her head while I was breastfeeding. That I wouldn't have a problem with. I have a new cover that covers her entire body now, but I'm feeding the baby and she's alone in the room. She's in the room. She stares at me and says, "Is she eating? Is she sleeping? Is she eating good? Is she eating? Leave us alone." Maybe don't cover up. Maybe don't cover up. Let her see the baby. She can tell if the baby's eating or not. She can't. She can't tell if the baby's eating or not. That's not how that works. When she's holding the baby is clearly getting hungry. I tell her multiple times I have to feed the baby. She's getting hungry. It's been X amount of hours. She will go on holding the baby until the baby is inconsolable. So go take her. It's your baby. Go take her out of your mother in law's arms and explain, I need to feed the baby now. I tell her multiple times to give me the baby to feed, and she goes, "Well, she's not crying yet, just a few more minutes." It's not up to you, ma'am. It's up to the mom. When she texts us or is holding the baby, she says, "My baby, my sweet pea, my baby girl," etc. She called me milk lady. Oh, that's rude. Now, I will say that the boys are my babies. My grandkids are my babies, but I'm not stupid enough to know that they're not really mine. They're my son's and his wife's. Not trying to interlope. They're just an extension of my family, and they're my babies. They're everybody in the family's babies. I really feel like she thinks my baby is hers. She was on the phone with someone and said, "Yeah, I'm with my son, my daughter-in-law, and my daughter, I mean granddaughter." Ooh, Freudian slip much. What the wang. On my husband's birthday, she was holding the baby and she said, "You're so cute. I never had a baby girl." Like, yeah, and you never will. Only your son now feels like crap on his birthday because you wanted to say some weird possessive crap about my child. She's not your baby. WTF. I mean, there's a very good chance I won't have a baby granddaughter. It is what it is. She tries to lay a guilt trip on my husband when he pushes back, saying, "But you and the baby are my only family. You are all I have. Lady, you have a sister and a family, uncles, cousins, and a husband." She is even now she she is even now moving 7 states to be closer to us. We used to live in the same state, but she's recently moved. She's quitting her job to be close to us because we are her only family. It is not unusual for grandparents to want to live near their grandchild. There's nothing wrong with that. If my son moved, we would probably move because I love my grandkids so much. I like to be a part of I'm not a daily part of their lives, but I would like to be a weekly, at least monthly part of their lives because I love my grandbabies. Every time she visits, she tries to convince me and my husband to go out so she can babysit and we can have alone time. In reality, she just wants alone time with the baby. So give her some. That's nothing wrong with that. I will never let her babysit or be alone with the baby. I really feel like she would kidnap and flee to Canada or do some weird crap like try to breastfeed her. With her husband around? I don't think so. She's a manipulative psychopath. Well, you haven't really determined that. Also, why do you want to be alone with my child so bad? Because that's how you bond with people. That's how you bond. And she wouldn't be alone. Her husband would be there. Future Adeptness says I had to stop reading your post halfway through because, wow, your child is your and your partner's child. Your mother in law does not get to clear things only with your partner when it comes to your child. That's true. I always, well, I usually ask my son, but I think that's normal. I should be going through him. But he clears it with his wife. I mean, as far as I know, maybe not. She sounds like a nightmare, similar to my mother-in-law. I've blocked her on everything because they don't need to be guilted or manipulated by someone else's mom. My mom is perfectly capable of fulfilling that role. This is your child, and you get to decide how you want to raise them. Honestly, your mother-in-law doesn't get a vote. Somebody somewhere in says my mother-in-law pulls crap like this. She calls her my baby and tries to avoid handing her back to me when she's crying and clearly hungry. Now, see, that's wrong. I've never done that ever. I would never. She talks my baby in a thinly veiled insults to me. We need to teach your mother that she doesn't need to take you every time you cry. Yes, mother does need to take her every time she cries. I am not against holding a crying baby. Like, mom needs to, mom, she's hungry, mom. I will say that. I will like take the initiative to go. Um, I think she's hungry. I think she needs diaper change. I can do it. Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it? I prefer not to be honest. I'm not into diaper changes. Done enough of them. She once turned her back on me and walked out the room when I came to take my hungry, crying daughter back. During that visit, I barely let her hold her after that because WTAF. I was newly postpartum and crap like that is not okay. Luckily, she doesn't live close by, but OMG, why act like this? Hold a strong opinion of OP and keep what boundaries you can. Bright Concentrate says this is the type of person who would sue for grandparents' rights, which they won't get unless somebody dies. They're not going to get that. Unless there's a massive change in behavior, respect and accountability for what she said and done. She's no and she has no contact with the baby, no photos, no updates, nothing. If she's there, baby isn't. You need to start this immediately. Boundaries are good. This is from Retail Hell, and it says they don't exist. Yes, they do. That's a lie. I mean, your life would be literally hell if they didn't. This is one worker versus 20 customers, basic decency. I think the vast majority of people have basic decency. It's those one in a while, and I've worked in customer service, so I know it's that one in a while person that can ruin your whole day. And if it's early in the day, it's even worse. Next, we have Petty Revenge, and it's entitled Friend Copied My Daughter's Name, but Really. I have a Friend who I notice seems to copy many things that I do and buy. We happen to be pregnant at the same time for our babies. I noticed she's been buying the same things as me. Though I don't mind, there were just a few things I would have liked to be unique to my child, but she ordered the same when seeing it on my story and acted like it's a coincidence. Okay, so don't put your stupid life all over Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Stop. Stop doing that. It's ridiculous. Lately, we had a conversation about the name of our kid, and she asked what I was naming her. I said we have a few options, but haven't decided yet. She seemed to keep pressing to know the options I didn't say. I tested my theory of her copying and told some of our mutual friends a fake name of what I will name our baby. Lo and behold, she gave birth last week and named it the same, but with a slightly different spelling, like one letter difference. But of course, it isn't the name I'm going to name our baby. LOL. Summer Buffalo says, block and delete. That's unhealthy. It's also unhealthy to put everything on Facebook and Instagram. Don't do that. Your life does not belong there. It's okay to not share every little detail of your life. Just saying. Pseudo Meat Cat says OP approved her hypothesis of the friend copying everything is true. Therefore, OP can do something like keep the friend around, but don't buy and do copyable things that are not in the friend's interest or in OP's interest. Next top rated comment is Do Cup. I'd be genuinely concerned about this person being near my child. They're a little too unhinged and could do something stupid. Please reconsider your relationship with this person. Salty Sprinkles is the fourth top rated comment, but the only one with any awards. Maybe stop posting everything so she can't copy you. Exactly. Exempt one says exactly. At least she was smart about the name. Somebody deleted a comment. The comment was removed by a moderator. An exempt one answers the deleted comment. If Reddit teaches anyone anything, it's never to give out your baby name or keep items that will have the name printed on them ahead of time. Yes. Parlay Pass Rum is the third top rated comment, and they say, Good for you. Be prepared, or the stupid one will get the name changed if she has been to the register office to make it official. When you have yours, wait until you know she's done it. Be a use it's expensive otherwise. Also, every time you see her copy, you point it out. Again, you must be following me around the shop, or I'd buy clothes that are the next size up for the baby. It will be out of stock by the time they grow. Sophia or not Sophie says, and stop posting every single thing. It isn't necessary. Yes, exactly. Next, we have entitled people, and it is entitled You Are in My Movie Seat. Back in 2022, I decided to take the kids to see DC League of Super Pets, figuring they'd be entertained and I'd keep them occupied for a short time. The theater had just started reserving seatings. I let the kids do that since I didn't know how it worked. They get their overpriced snacks and off we walk half a mile to the theater. So they're getting their normal price snacks and not buying them at the theater, which is fine to me. That's fine. Theater are overpriced snacks. Open the doors, and what do you expect from a kids' movie? A lot of noise, activity, as the grown-ups try to keep the kids in their seats and somewhat entertained as the million pre-movie ads run. Oh, my kids like the pre-movie ads. My grandkids like the credits. Although he might have grown out of that. He didn't want to watch the credits the other day, which I find unusual. I find the row number and notice every single seat is filled. Double check the tickets, check the row number again, and of course, someone is sitting in my seats. I walk down the row with the kids trailing behind me and tell the woman and her kids they are in the wrong seats. She acts confused. I repeat myself and show her my tickets. Again, she acts confused. So get out of my seat. So I told her to check her tickets. If they are the same seats, I'll get staff to sort it out. Apparently, her sister and nephews were in the seats next to ours, and that's why she was there. Because when I mentioned it to staff, she said, Guess I'll have to move because this woman doesn't want the cousins to all watch the movie together. Shocker that her seats are in the front row. I sat down right next to her sister lis- and listened to her tell her sons that she's sorry they can't watch the movie with their cousins. So get the seats all together. Why didn't you buy all the seats? It says it a few times though, her kids don't seem to care. I said, I'll bet that if you went down to the same row and asked the people next to your sister to change seats, they'd probably be happy to do so. That way you can all watch the movie together. Didn't hear a peep out of her the rest of the time. Old lady Tsunati? Old lady Tsunati says it's spelled like tsunami, but with an N and a D. This is the same person who would buy the cheapest plane ticket and moan and complain because they don't want the middle seat. And little Billy really wanted to see out the window. How selfish some people are who can't accommodate the needs of a child, even though said selfish person paid extra to sit in a particular spot. Brilliant Orange says the wants of a child. Children don't need to watch out a window. It sure is fun to watch until you get jaded by frequent travel. No, no child needs to sit by the window, but it is nice to have the child sit by the window because they are happier. But if you don't pay for it and somebody else paid for it, you don't get that seat. So pay for your kid to have the window seat. Simple. Cautious Rhubarb says, I'd happy to change seats if you pay me what I paid for the seat, plus a two times surcharge pricing, plus two times convenience fee, plus two times relocation fee, plus two times destination fee. Oh, you said you have a middle seat in the back row plus two time inconvenience fee. My $75 seat is yours for clickety clickety click clack. Stick your tongue in the mouth. $2,400. Oh, and tax, just like 10%. Comes to $2,640. Cash or Venmo, ma'am. They got a laughing star emoji reward. I like that. That's good. It's true. I would be asking for a lot more than what I paid for the seat because I wanted to sit in my seat. Yinzer Kitchen says, I'm 100% asking for people who are in the seat that I paid for to move. There's a specific reason I selected that seat. I bought the tickets ahead of time and usually set it up so I don't have people sitting right up against me, although sometimes it happens. It is what it is. This actually happened to myself, my heavily pregnant sister, and mom when we went to see Wicked in 2024. We bought tickets like 2 weeks ahead of time and a spot in the back near the door, just in case my sister went into labor and also because she needs quick access to the restroom. We ran a bit behind and got to the movie a little late. Three ladies were in our seats. My sister very politely and forcefully asked them to move, and they started giving her some crap until they looked down at her belly and hustled out of there. They probably got separated, but tough crap. Danica May says, if this is a first screening, I'll straight up buy the seats on either side of me and tell people to eat pee pee. Peen. Wee wee. Be right back. There's cookies. I have done this and felt absolutely zero guilt. I never even thought of that. I don't have the money for that. No BS for me is a third top rated comment. And they say, bingo, this has happened to me multiple times. I've taken the grandkids. I let theater staff handle it, but I'm going to use your comment next time. Thanks. Zabornak Nyland says, I have a love-hate relationship with the assigned seats situation. I love choosing my seats because I like to be on the aisle about three-fourths of the way back on the left. About half the time I go there and people are in my seats. I will start by walking up, looking at my phone, and telling my friend, we are in X seats. People look at their tickets and move. Most people look at their tickets and move. How do you mess that up? The tickets, it's very specific. It is very specific. There's no doubt what seat you are supposed to be in, unless you can't read. Occasionally, I will have to ask them to move, and once I had to get the theater staff. Why does it have to be so hard? Buy early enough and get the seat you want and sit there. Carmium says, I was once lined up outside for a popular movie. Doors open 45 minutes before the show or something at the big downtown Odeon. I don't know. The old building had no indoor amusements or extra space for people to kill time. A German tourist walked past the line and inquired, I seem to have An ask me face. Can relate. It's called resting nice face. You look nice. You look friendly. It's a compliment. Don't worry about it. As to why we were lined up for, he was astonished that this was a first come, first serve gang rush for seats. He had never seen anything like that, as all the movies seats in Das Vaterland were reserved and always had been. Oh, that's interesting. He lifted his camera and started snapping pics of this bizarre North American phenomenon, the movie lineup. Wait till he finds out about iPhones, iPhones and Xboxes. An employee came out for his added entertainment, counting the people and dropping his arm to slice off the lineup. Several people back. Sorry, folks, we won't be able to sit you for the 7 o'clock show. Moans arose as dozens had come downtown specifically for the movie. I had to think my German friend had a point then, especially now in the cell phone laptop age. Why can't we act like civilized as Europe and always has these movies? You get reserved seats for plays and concerts and don't think twice. Why not at the movies, especially with what it costs today? Well, I haven't been to a theater who does the cattle call basically in ages. All the theaters around here, you're assigned seats. The Murder to Thy Words, which we've already looked at. Never mind. Expectation versus reality. I did it myself. I'm sure you can tell. Okay, so I guess this was the expectation. It's a puppy. You get puppy tax today. This is the expectation. He's so cute and fluffy. Look at the floof. Oh, it's not that bad. They said it failed expectations. It's not that bad. It's just not even. Which if the puppy did it, it wouldn't be even. It's not that bad. It could be way worse. I've seen worse. Um, okay, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually Thursday through Friday. This one is just an extra. It's just an extra because I missed it Friday. Um, tell everybody you know. So excited about this part. Um, yeah. Oh, did you know that Kendra Duggar can't have contact with her own children? This is more of them door locks. I'm sorry. It's more the door locks. Something else happened. This is living on the border for under 100K. Part of the house is actually in Canada. Don't know which part. All I know is taxes will be a nightmare. The property needs a lot of work. This is in Norton, Vermont. I mean, yeah, it needs a little work. Wait till we get inside before we judge, but yeah, it's okay-ish. It looks like a normal house to me. I'm sure they have the taxes already. The actual house in 2 countries, because I'm betting it's just the land. That's not that bad. You can refurbish those cabinets. They're like good. They have good bones. Don't like that being in the living room. Guessing that's the line for the stove, maybe? Seems weird having it next to the hot water heater, but okay. Other side. Now let's see where the refrigerator would go. Maybe that's for the fridge. But where's the stove? In that case, where's the stove? Yeah, this needs a little bit of work. Unless you're going for retro. It needs some work. And that's okay. Someone can buy it and do the work. That's just a outside porch, windowed in porch area. Looks like they had a swing, maybe? The bedroom. I mean, it needs work, but it's not that bad. Oh God, get rid of that carpet. Ew, nasty. Carpeting in the bathroom is the worst. The worst. Yeah, it needs some sprucing. Needs some sprucing. United States and Canada. So I don't think the house itself is in 2 countries. Just the lot is. It needs, some paint, some flooring. It's not the worst. It's not the worst one we've even seen on here. Make sure there's no leaks. This is nasty. Oh my god, the carpet and ugh, ugh, makes me want to gag. Interesting spot for the window, though. At least it has a window, I guess. Also needs a ceiling fan. No, that's where the washer and dryer are supposed to be. Okay, right off the kitchen in the hallway. Okay, okay. This can be fixed. This I know can be fixed because my son just did that. I will have to get the pictures and show you because this can be faux fixed and it will look amazing afterward. Like amazing. And all it needs is some white paint. Some cleanup and some white paint. It's wild. Month weatherization program. So that's got some pretty good insulation. R11's the lowest one. That's got really good insulation. R7 is kind of pretty normal. New heating system, bathroom fan, and a new water heater. When was that installed? Oh, in 2022. So it's got plenty of insulation. You should be nice and cozy. I would like to know where the line is where it goes to Canada. So it is $99,000. It's in Norton, Vermont. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,850 square feet. Built in 1890, so it's pretty old. This lot. I wish they put the lot in acres. I hate it when they do square feet. There we go, square feet to acres. Did I not copy it? I thought I copied it. Not letting me. Oh, there it is. Oh, I guess it's not that much. It's less than a quarter of an acre. Less than a quarter of an acre of lottage. So how does that even happen? It's less than a quarter of an acre and it's in 2 countries. I can see if it's like 3 or 4 acres, but less than a quarter of an acre. How? That's crazy. That's crazy pants crazy. Got the gravel driveway. Countryside near snowmobiles and trails. Um, Heat and water are currently turned on and operating, with the exception of the second floor bathroom that has not been used in years. You better check that out. These TLC and cosmetic updates, yeah. It did not have appliances, so you're gonna have to buy all of those, which is fine. It's way less than. It's only 100. I was like 100 grand, so it's cheap, cheap, cheap. Probably smells like old people because it looks like it was an estate. It's an estate sale. They do not have the property taxes. Property taxes are expected to be only $139. That doesn't seem right. That don't seem right at all. Yeah, $139 they're expecting for property tax. That's like nothing. Sign me up. I can buy this house. I just don't want to fix it. Push the button. Frank says, if I can prove I gave birth to a child in that corner of the house, did they get Canadian citizenship? Real Chance says, 18-year-old can legally drink in one corner of the house. And somebody says 19, and somebody says Vermont borders Quebec, it's 18. Yeah, my kids used to go to Canada here because you can drink at 19 in Ontario. I'm not going to stop them. They didn't do it a lot, but they did it a couple times. The Honest Liar says, if the police are there to arrest you, can you stay in Canada? They wouldn't have jurisdiction. More ramen, please says it's a non-extradition corner. Dang, I messed that up. It's a non-extradition corner. Asphalt Addict says, epic timeout corner. You march right off to Canada, young man, and don't think think about what you've done. Rostov says the border patrol guy checking your passport and asking you how long you plan to be in the bedroom would get really annoying. Oh man, Jay says, do you have any fruits or vegetables? We don't have any fruits or vegetables in the car. The whole trunk's full of them, Marge. The Simpsons thing. Oh, that's funny. I love the jokes. This is interesting AF. Monkey grosses out by century egg. Sorry. It was right at the beginning. I can't help it. All right, here we go. Oh, turn my sound on. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear it. Oh, shoot. I'm not sharing it. Stop, stop, stop. Go back. I don't. Okay, here you go. That was an expensive egg, young man. Oh, I'm gonna have to download this one. I didn't know monkeys could act like that. I might have to save that for something. I'm gonna have to go look at that. I'm gonna have to go look that one up because that could come in handy at some point. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. This from Am I the A-hole? AITA, my friend ruined my Yixing teapot and I want her to replace it or give me $500. When I went to China, I bought myself a Yixing teapot. It's a glazed, clay unglazed pot that gets seasoned the more you make tea in it. Kind of like a cast iron pot. Since it's unglazed, you cannot wash it with soap or any rough sponges. Kind of like a cast iron pan, pot, whatever. Anything cast iron, you should not use soap on. You clean it by using hot water and then you let it air dry, nothing else. This is the issue. I left for a work trip and my friend watched my cat. I paid her and told her she can use anything in the kitchen. My Yixing teapot is not in the kitchen and neither are any of my fancy loose leaf teas. I have a normal kettle in the kitchen for guests to use. I come back and found the Yixing pot in my sink and smells like soap. It also has multiple scratched multiple scratches on the inside. I call her up and she told me she used it because she loved the tea I make with it. Then she washed it with a rough wire sponge and used soap. Oh my gosh, why would you do that? She didn't know where my sponges were and I didn't want to put it in the dishwasher. Well, good thing she didn't because it shouldn't go in there either. I tried to fix it, but I couldn't. Anything it comes out of the taste of soap and the scratches are just getting bigger with everything I boil. I try. It's ruined. I called her up and asked her to replace it since she ruined it. She told me to just clean it, and I told her I've tried. She agreed, and I sent her the teapot from the same store I bought mine that was most similar. It's actually cheaper than the one I bought in China. It's about $500. She called me pissed after I sent her the link and refused to pay for it. She claims I should have told her not to use it. I pointed out it was behind glass and I didn't think I need to. I asked her to pay again and she's pissed. Should I just cut my losses? No, you should take her to court. She was told she could use anything in the kitchen specifically. She went out of her way to a glass case and took it out and used it. That's like going to a museum and taking a pot out of there and doing something with it and cooking in it. No. All that sparkles in me says I'm saying NTA because it was enclosed in a glass case and made alternative you made an alternative available. Use alternative and alternative. Bad. You can, by the way, on Reddit, edit your posts. I do it all the time. My vibrator, my vibrator is in my drawer, and just because I tell someone to make themselves at home doesn't entitle them to use it. I have lots of expensive items. Most of us do. Do I have to make a list of all the expensive items I don't want a pet sitter to use? Goodness, I just can't. You're not the TA. Vibrator isn't a good example. Yes, it is. It's a personal item. Very fancy towel stored outside the kitchen in a chest of drawers. No reasonable person would use someone else's vibrator or might use toys. You'd be surprised at what unreasonable people will do. No reasonable person is going to get into someone's china cabinet where nice dishes and appliances not out of the or not of ordinary use are literally on display either. But here we are. Yes, exactly. Clown Panks answers, my cousin stayed in my house over the holidays to visit my parents while I was in California. They all used my fine china and ran it through the dishwasher. Nothing was damaged, but it was still really weird. Sumpero says, vibrators are an excellent example. Once someone uses my vibrator, it just doesn't taste the same. Same for Cocoa Puffs, says NTA. The people who think that she couldn't have known need to use some basic common sense, and I wouldn't trust anyone in my home. It takes an item who takes an item from a glass display case, then uses a wire brush on it. I don't care what the item is. There's no world you would take an item out of a display case and use a metal wire brush on it. I can't think of a single item that could be behind a glass display case I would wire brush. If I saw a rusty kitchen knife behind glass display, I wouldn't brush it. It's something nominally appropriate to use a metal cleaning on. Yes, exactly. Igmit Pet says NTA. The people in the sub can't read. That's the only reason you're getting anyone saying otherwise. You could say she could use anything in the kitchen. A fancy tea spot and a display case in a different room is obviously not part of that. Obviously. I mean, clearly that's not part of it. Your friend should have offered to replace it as soon as they found out it was ruined. This is what I would have done because I'm not an a-hole and your friend is an a-hole. Suspicious Grand says, I would never open a display case. 100% agree. Exactly. Who opens a display case like that and takes something out and uses it? What's wrong with you? And $500 is a lot of money, but I say take her to court. Take her to small claims. Get your $500. Next is Overheard and is entitled 3-Year-Old at a Store. Little girl holding a tiny race car with a 3 on the hood looked at a letter. Dad, is that a letter or a number? Little girl, a number. Dad, what number is it? Little girl, Tuesday. Oh, that's so cute. Conscious Waffle says on a traditional calendar, Tuesday is the third day of the week, so toddler logic wins. Successful Fool says the third of this month was indeed Tuesday. That was February and next month, so that's this month. Maximilian says this is currently how my perimenopause brain works. Even if I got the answers right in my head, I would still come out wrong. Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry. It gets better, I promise. I promise. Menopause is great. Nice afternoon says my daughter learned to count to 1, 2, Dale, 4, 5, 6. Next, we have True Off My Chest, and it is entitled My Kid Want Me to Live Miserably and Die Alone, and I'm Sick of It. Okay, what did you do, OB? Because that's not a normal reaction for a parent and child. But I can think of parents that deserve that reaction. Mm, excuse me. My wife passed away from cancer 12 years ago, leaving me alone with our 3 kids. I never dated after her, and even if I did, they wouldn't approve of it. I wanted to focus on them anyway. My oldest daughter is now married, and my 2 younger sons are in college, out of the house, so it's just me at home, and it's so wangy depressing. I leave in the morning, I go to my soul sucking job, and return in the evening to an empty house, and that's exactly the same way I left in the morning. No warm meal, no noises, no one to come back home to. I still love my wife, and I do miss her very much. And if she was still alive, I wouldn't dream of speaking to another woman, but I'm still young, I'm 48, and in relatively good health, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone. So don't. Your kids are gone. They have nothing to say in your life. I've been recently talking to one of my friend's divorced sisters, and we're liking each other, friend's son my friend's son, her nephew, is close friends with my youngest, and he told him, and now all my kids are angry at me for moving on. How long do they expect you to mourn? Well, your kids are ridiculous. I think you spoiled them. I think you spoiled your kids because this is ridiculous. They just want me to keep living a miserable life to honor their mom. But I've honored them long enough and I deserve some company too, just like all of them are out dating and my daughter is even married herself. Is that too much to ask for? No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sorry this is happening to you, LP. This is reminds me my aunt called me up the other day. She's in her 70s. And she says, "I have big news." I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" She says, "I'm engaged." I'm like, "Oh, good for you." And you know what? My uncle's wife, my uncle died, I don't know, 10, 18 years ago. She's passed away since too. She died in 2020. So that's been 5 years. But a while after my my uncle passed, she met a wonderful man and got married again at her age. It happens and it's fine. She was in her 70s too. It's great. People don't need to live alone. It's silly. I know people who want to, and that's okay too. But this man's 40 frickin' 8 years old. I hope he finds a 35-year-old and has a whole other family because his kids don't deserve him. Uh, Klutzy Plankton says, "No, it isn't. You've done your job of being a parent. You're not cheating on your wife because you decide it's time and you're ready to be happy again. You deserve to be happy and you have grieved for a good amount of time. Yes, way longer than necessary. Remember back in the day, you mourned for a year and then you got married again almost right away." President Nocturne says, "Your kids are stuck in grief mode, but it's time for you to embrace happiness." Exactly. Bananas for Kale says, "Or they're self-absorbed a-holes." Exactly. Mama Drama Lover says, "Or both. I'm betting it's both. They're stuck in grief mode instead of recognizing that they're being self-absorbed a-holes." Did you get counseling for your kids when your wife died? Because that seems a very intelligent thing to do. Surprise Illustria says, "Malicious compliance. Go to their house for dinner every night." Kip Strom says, "Yes. Yep. Make them beg you to start dating." Environmental Art says, Don't just go for dinner, be petty to the max and move in. Wiggle your way into every aspect of their lives so they can't do anything without you there. I lost my mom 25 years ago when I was 10. Even though my parents were divorced and my dad was still very much in love with my mom, mom's family and friends caused issues and mom let them. When I was 16, dad's coworker signed him up on an over 50s dating site. He was 51. When I was 18, he started more long-term flings. Good for him. When I moved out and in with my boyfriend at 20, he had a long distance relationship and she moved closer to be moved to be closer to him after I left. She wanted a change in scenery anyway. They ended 3 years ago and I had my dad living with us for the last 2 years. I really want him out of the house as much as I love him. He's a PETA. And I miss the days where he was too busy living his own life, that he wasn't causing trouble in mine. His stubbornness does not mesh well with my ADHD kid or the other two. It feels like I'm a kid again where he's in charge while living under my roof. That's not a good dynamic. It's your roof. It's your roof and he's not in charge. OP, like you said, you were 48 years old. That means theoretically, if you were to live your 100, you wouldn't even be halfway through your life. Do they expect you to be alone for more than half your life? Human beings are generally social animals. We need love and relationships for our mental and physical health. What they are demanding goes against every human's instinct. Try and sit them down and asking them to your point of view and how you aren't erasing their mom, but that you need more than they can give. That chat doesn't go well. Ask for family therapy and tell them that you only discuss the topic further with the therapist you choose. That sounds like a good idea. Those kids do need therapy because that is not a normal reaction to that. XZ says, you're only 48. Get out there. Sign up for walking or running club. Get on one of the dating apps for people seeking real relationships. Look into what you could take up as a hobby. Yeah, he definitely needs a hobby. There are Lego clubs that would be very happy to have him. Yes, they're all adults. They don't even let junior members come in until they're, I think, teenagers, maybe 16 even. I don't think you get to be a full member until you're 16. Maybe that's how they're doing it. Your kids will always feel some kind of way about you carrying on with life after your wife's passing. That's not on you. Don't make yourself a martyr for no good reason. They will adapt. OP says, I do already have someone. Oh, good. Good. I'm so glad to hear. Your kids are jerks. Rabbit Hole says, good. I would have been thrilled to bits if my mom had found a new partner who made her happier. Kids are selfish. Delilah Dread says this, though. My dad passed away when I was 13. My mom never dated and still holds on to her grief. She's incredibly lonely and it's obvious. We've, her kids, encouraged her to get out there, but she refuses and eventually we just gave up. It's been 23 years and it's been rough at times, to say the least. Dad would have not have wanted her to be alone. We, her kids, don't want her to be alone. I cannot imagine wanting loneliness for someone you love. That's so very selfish, especially after than a decade of exactly that. I'm glad OP has someone his kids will adjust eventually, and I wish him and his new lady all the luck in the world. Me too. OP, you go get him. Go get him. Be happy. If your kids aren't happy, that's on them. Maybe they need counseling. I don't know. What do I do? How to set a clear, respectful boundary with my husband's female friend? And she said, get off your high horse. You are worried so much about me that you think I want your man. I had him before you wanted to. I don't want him, but if I did, I could have him. Yikes. I would, I would, my husband and I would have to have a long talk about this. A long talk. Like, she can't treat me that way. To make a long story short, my husband had this female friend and they've known each other since they were kids. I know before me and my husband were actually dating, he was already trying to separate himself from her just because of other stuff that happened within the people they were friends with. All of this happened over 7 years ago. Unfortunately, she is a family friend, so whenever they have a get together or anything, they see each other. She is there as well. Anyway, I could kind of tell when I first met her that she liked him or at least used to, and I never said anything just because I didn't want to be that person. I'm secure enough in my marriage and trust my husband. I don't think he's cheating or entertaining her behavior. I think she's just stuck in the past. I had a family event the other day. My husband went, but I couldn't because I had class. So we just met each other. So we just meet each other there. She ended up also being there, and this would be the first time she's been around him since they were younger without me there. When he got there, she was taking videos of them standing next to each other, and in every video, she tried dancing with him. Every time she would try to go near him, he would move away from her. Eventually, they were eating, and she was trying to record herself spoon feeding my husband his food. This lady's weird. Who does that? Especially if it's somebody else's husband. Girl, get a hold of yourself. And she would post those videos on her Snapchat story. That's how I saw before I decided I didn't want to go. His mom told her to stop being weird, of course, because if I was there, she wouldn't be doing that stuff. And she felt, I think she felt called out because she texted me the photo I have attached. I want to text her back saying something, but I don't want to be rude or start drama. Oh no, this is the time to be rude, honey. You can be rude. She's already being rude. You can be rude. I just want to tell her I see through what she's doing and I just want her to stop. I don't want fighting or us to get along. I want her to stop. Why doesn't your husband want her to stop? This is your husband's deal. He needs to set his boundaries. You don't set boundaries for him. He sets his own boundaries. I don't want to start things between their family and hers either. What do I do? I have also added that we are American, so I'm not sure where the XX came from. X's mean kisses. Silent Ordinary is the top rated comment. It says the clear boundary would be cutting out this person out. And OP says, I doubt this family would. He has her phone number blocked and they don't talk, but it doesn't stop his family from inviting her to his parties and stuff. So make a scene. It's time to make a scene. Sometimes people do not get hints and you got to make a scene. And if they did agree to stop inviting her, he also spoke to her and told her she was uninvited to stop trying to contact us and he wanted nothing to do with her. Edit 2. I also got an apology and she says, I take everything too seriously because it was just a joke. That was not a joke, ma'am. Edit 3. I guess people are missing the part where I said he doesn't talk to her. He has blocked her for 7 years and has told her verbally, leave me alone every time she talks to him. And he left after she tried feeding him. I just want to specify. Edit 4. For all the people expecting an update, not much happened. She has been saying stuff about me to their mutual friends, but not saying anything bad about my husband, of course. Her parents ended up asking why he no longer wanted to associate, and they showed him the text and they said it's fake because she wouldn't do that. Thank you everyone with actual useful supplies. I appreciate it so much. Cricket says, you shouldn't have to text anything back. Your husband should be doing that on his own. That'll be the damn day some asshat would try and spoon feed me. It wouldn't be my mommy asking her what the hell was going on through her head. It would be me loudly. OP says, I haven't actually expressed to him that she bothers me ever. Well, you should have. That's what communication is for. You can say, I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like how she acts around you. I don't like her doing this. I don't like her doing that. You can say that. It's okay. I was afraid it might just be being jealous. I guess now's a good time to do so. Thank you for your input. Edit, a lot more people are seeing this post than we figured things out, but we talked to his parents and they agreed to stop inviting her over. He made her apologize to me. Thanks for everyone with actual help. No, that's good. So we did get a little bit of an update. Committed Kitsus, his XOXO means kisses and hugs. XX means kiss kiss, and she's adding insult to injury. How unkind and immature of her to treat you like this. Your husband needs to be the one to set firm boundaries, though. He shouldn't let his friend X talk to you like this. If he's passive in this situation or enabling her behaviors that concern you, there's likely some unresolved feelings between them or worse. Edit to add that maybe the problem here is all her. However, to reiterate your husband needs to firmly and directly put her in her place, otherwise she will only escalate. Exactly. LP says, I've never told him I don't like her before because I don't want to talk, because they don't talk. So I never felt the need to bring it up if we only see her on occasion. I will tell him, though, and ask him to talk to her about this. She isn't an ex, otherwise, this would be a completely different situation. The girl's after your husband. Tell her to knock it off. Your husband needs to tell her to knock it off. It's not necessarily a husband problem because you haven't told him. That's on you. But yeah. And it sounds like he did. So that's good. And her and his parents agreed. So that's good too. Next we have entitled parents entitled, my parents treat my adulthood like a temporary phase and expect me to prioritize them over my own life. No, we already read that one. Oh no consequences. Okay, we have not read this one. This is from Oh No Consequences and is entitled, If You Don't Like It, You Can Leave. Wait, you're actually leaving? It's originally from Petty Revenge entitled, If You Don't Like It, You Can Leave. Okay, buckle up. I, 24 female, live in an apartment with my ex-fiance, male 28. We'll call him EF. We'll call him, it's a good EF name. Because I ain't calling him EF. But no, one's not coming to me. Oh, Efron. Ephraim. How about Ephran? Ephran. We'll call him Ephron for about 4 years. Due to us not equally being great to each other, the relationship did not last. We called off the engagement in September of 2022, but our lease didn't end until the following July. We agreed to live together until then. Fast forward to April 2023. So September of 2022 till so they must have just signed the lease in July of 2022 for it to go to 2023. Fast forward to April 2023. I wake up on a Tuesday morning getting ready for work to find a lady's, well, we'll call her Lenore, clothes in my bathroom. No big deal. Efron and I were coexisting as roommates just fine. So there'd be no hard comments about romantic guests from my end. The issues arose when Efron explained that Lenore would not be spending one night, but would rather be living with us for an undetermined amount of time. Oh, hell no. No, absolutely not. For context, Efron has a bit of a savior complex, and Lenore is in the business of being a damsel in distress. How appropriate for them. I'm so happy for them. Efron had rescued her from a situation that she made up because she caught feelings for him. I let them both know that I expected to split the bills 1/3, and Efron did not like hearing this. Well, of course. He told me we would not be splitting 1/3, but rather he and I would continue to split 50-50. I told him that wasn't going to work, and his response was, well, if you don't like it, then you can leave. One thing Efren did not learn about me in the 4 years we were together, I will accomplish anything I set out to do. And with that one line, I was determined to leave. By divine intervention, or sheer luck, an opportunity came up on Facebook Marketplace for a roommate in my same neighborhood. I messaged the poster the next Thursday, and by Friday, I was moving my stuff in. When I told Efren about my decision, he was floored. He didn't think I would actually move out that quickly. He tried to convince me to stay. I simply told him I didn't like it here anymore and I was going to leave. That weekend between Lenore's arrival and my moving out was awful. We both had become animals towards each other. It was so toxic, although it was scary to leave the comfort of where I'd been. It was such a relief to have all the bad parts of that chapter behind in one swift action. Fast forward a couple of months, Lenore got a part-time job and blew her paychecks on alcohol. Efren despises alcohol for personal reasons, so I guess the romance died out quickly. Lenore ended up calling the guy Efren had initially saved her from and made Efren the new bad guy. She left that night and never came back. Efren kept me in the loop. We were still friends at this point, and I knew the situation was about to go to crap, so I wanted to be around to sip the tea. Don't blame me, girl. Apparently, Efren had given Lenore so much money that he could no longer afford rent. He had to move back in with his parents after 2 months after my departure. Bonus pettiness. During the week, I was looking for another place. Crap got so bad. Like, I was still on his phone plans, but he decided to cut my phone off without telling me first. The man loves video games more than air, so I figured the only way I could get his attention would be to change the Wi Fi password. Light bulb moment. Why not make a point and take the whole modem? So that's what I did. Yoinked that bitch from the wall, and 10 minutes later, my phone turns back on. He texted me to bring the modem back, and I told him as soon as he released my phone from his plan, problem solved. A white boy says, LOL, can we take a moment to laugh at how much of a loser OOP's ex is? OOP is a champ, and this hit every cathartic beat. Yes. Jenny Penny says, I am happy to laugh right along with you. Clearly stands for epic failure. Monty Burns is the next top rated comment and says, if her name was on the lease, why is she paying rent? If her name wasn't on the lease, why stay as long as she did? Um, Full Moon Twist says, because according to the post, they were perfectly fine coexisting as roommates. As long as it's tenable, it makes life a lot easier when you have several months saved and plan for a new living situation. It limits weird paperwork for both people to move out at the end of their current lease versus trying to find a way to cancel it. That's true. Considering it jumps from September to April, months in the future without 7 months in the future without comment, I'm willing to believe that part about cohabitating just fine before one person tried to force an unilateral roommate situation. Like, yeah, it tends to be emotionally less messy to be able to immediately move out on the second you break up, but sometimes that isn't clean. That's true. Steroid Sandwich says if he agreed, he would have paid less than half. Now he pays 100%. Yep. Jojo B says he would have been paying 2/3 because the girl wasn't going to pay. That is true. Mildly infuriating. For the past 6 years, my previous dermatologist told me the spot behind my ear was nothing to worry about. 15 years ago, I had my first two basal skin cell cancers removed, including one behind my right ear, and never seemed to heal properly. I still go to the dermatologist at least once a year, and I know I've been asked my previous dermatologist about the spot for at least the past 6 years. Every year, he would look at it and tell me it was just damaged skin in that place. It's hard to heal. No, it's not. Your ears tend to heal really fast. They have lots of blood in them. This year, that group quit taking my insurance, so I had to switch dermatologists. As soon as my new doc saw this area, he said, I'm sorry, that's basal cell. You're going to need Mohs surgery. 30 stitches later, it's clean. I'm convinced my previous doctor was more interested in selling lip filler and Botox than actually doing dermatology. Yeah, you don't go to a dermatologist that also does lip filler and Botox. You go to a proper dermatologist for that, not a cosmetic dermatologist. There's different things. Something I can't read says, what I don't understand is why they would even take the risk. My doctor had me get a mole removed off my back. It turned out to be nothing after the biopsy, but better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, my son had a mole on his face when he was 6, and it grew really fast. The doctor said this mole never turns into cancer, but we're taking it out anyway, just in case. So that was when he had cast on his arm and surgery on his face. He looked great for about a week. His arm was not broken, by the way. Hesitation marks answers. One of our dogs clawed my belly and tore a mole, and it wouldn't heal. That that bitch got removed and was questionable. Better to remove than not. Yeah, my dad had to have the tips of his ears cut off for skin cancer. I don't know exactly what kind. I'm assuming it's basal. Backward says, because we're not finishing that. I have a retired firefighter friend who got the same thing. Unfortunately, they ended up having to remove the entire outer ear. Ow. OP answers, I was super nervous about it. I'm a musician and was really afraid it would have to mess with my hearing. Thankfully, it didn't. Oh, that's good. Yeah, your ears are formed the way they are for a reason, so you can hear. Desperate Form says, is their top right? Can you post a before photo? My husband has a squishy lump he calls Rogu, if you're familiar with American Dad. Doctor says it's nothing but it is a lump. And they deleted their comment. I'm gonna try a little experiment here. Don't know if this will work. Posts a lot. Like a lot, a lot. This guy posts a lot. Holy cow. Here it is. The third one. It's early deleted. All right, I guess we're not gonna find it. I want to know what it looks like before too, and it's already deleted. That's not cool. Why did you do that? Other people need to know. Next is, am I overreacting? It says, AOS, am I overreacting for my school giving me a goldfish? No. I'm in college and the RAs did something I think is kind of ridiculous. So they decided to just give the entire dorm building goldfish. Kid you not, they went door to door giving me a goldfish and didn't even ask if they were just like, here's your new friend. I think this is problematic. First, I got no warning for this. And second, they gave me a tiny plastic cup. So I had to run to Walmart to get a fish bowl. They technically need more than that, but I can't get a $100 tank. So now I need to care for it until I can find something new. I also have no experience with fish. I honestly don't think it's going to last long. Like I didn't sign up for this AIO for being annoyed. They probably do have fish food. Those goldfish are fish food, and that's dumb. They should have gotten Tetris or not Tetris. Tetris? No, that's not it. Little tiny little pretty fish. Those things last forever and they don't need a lot of room. And I forgot what they're called, but I like them. Beta fish. It's a beta fish. They should have got beta fish instead of goldfish because beta fish they're a hardy little fish and they could probably live in a cup. Freya is obsessed, says NOR at all. I would report this to the hall director or someone higher up because this is going to end badly for a lot of fish. It doesn't need to be happening. There's no way a hall director signed off on a surprise live animal day. It's a whole responsibility. Yeah, that's dumb. Like, I don't have time for no fish. I'm in college. Outside Cucumber says, NOR, this is a terrible idea. When I was in college living in a dorm, I ate tortillas with peanut butter or Nutella every day, just room temp on my bed. I would have killed another living being so fast. Myrna says, my roommate killed a cactus. College was not a safe place for taking care of more than yourself. That's for sure. Zippity says, there's always expectations. My plant thrived in my dorm. I had a fish for a few months, but he didn't fare so well despite my best efforts, and his end was kind of prolonged for a goldfish, and I had kind of a rough mental health. So man, losing that fish hurt. But those plants kind of kept me going during the roughest months. Absolutely took better care of them than myself, really. The plants are easy. All you got to do is feed them some water once in a while. I had a close friend who went to a different school, took a bunch of fish for herself and from friends. They were all nerdy religious girls in honors college dorm or some such. After the really nice tank, my mom ended up being so nice that our fish were breeding like crazy until I learned how to tell their sex and we got them all separated. But obviously, we had too many dang fish, and my understanding was a good number of the fish my friend took lived through the entire year. That's actually not that bad. But no doubt those nerdy exceptions also tend to know their exceptions and wouldn't want to be handed over a random unexpected fish either. Yes. I'd be pissed on multiple levels, animal cruelty and the having an unexpected, unplanned pet, but also just having more than enough to deal with already. College is such a weird time, having the small joys of being an adult on your own and having a lot of the weighing this is much harder than I imagined side of being an adult on your own. Oh, exactly. Not overreacting. Don't stop me, cow. Says not overreacting. I'd report it to the school. That's animal abuse and unfair amount of financial caregiving responsibility to throw someone who didn't ask for. 100%. Server Life says sign I seen saw the sign I saw when I was out to eat. Do not ask me to eat if your side work is not done. You have tables to pre-bus. Your section looks like garbage. Somebody say Amber. Pre-bus bar glass. Through the door, out the door. Don't know what all means. I mean, I know what pre-busing and side work is, but I had to laugh when I saw, but I don't know whose side to take. Server's perspective management is doing too much. But management perspective, why does it have to come to this? Ain't like this unspoken rule. Lonnie Goyd is the top comment, and they say, I expect to be treated like an adult and a human. I'd order food when my section was taken care of. The kitchen isn't busy and when I needed it. Ordering food when the kitchen is slammed and people are in the weeds is a different story. Yeah, exactly. Curse the Flesh says, I'm a professional. I'm not a child working at Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm type 1 diabetic. So if people want to get an ego about me having a soda or eating something, I'll be moving forward with the medical discrimination case. Exactly. People need to eat. People need to get the time to eat. Miss Cello says, I love reading behind the scene signs at workplaces. McDonald's usually has some decent passive aggressive stuff. I'm on the management side. Some people have no initiative, but they still won't do it even after reading this. Exactly. Revolutionary sign says, why ask to eat when you can just sneak in the walk-in and freebase some chocolate decadent cake? LOL. Next, we have confession. It's entitled, I got in an accident when I was away at school and lost my right eye. I never told my parents, and they don't know I have a glass eye. It's been 7 years. Wow. Back in 2019, when I was a senior in college, I was super drunk at a party and I accidentally shot myself point blank in the eye with a high powered airsoft gun. You'll shoot your eye out. We have told you this. I know what you're thinking. I still don't know how or why I did that. I was blackout drunk on on Xanax. That is not good, dude. But it happened, and unfortunately, the eye was so mangled they removed it completely. Shortly after I started shopping around for a glass eye. All the while, I was still away at school. I didn't tell my family because I didn't want them to know I was on drugs, because I knew how they would react. Luckily, my girlfriend at the time was rich AF, and her millionaire dad, who was also cool AF, agreed to pay for my surgery and my new eye and not tell my family. I mean, honestly, green flags for girlfriend's dad, especially if the family was going to have a fit about it. I thought for sure my parents would notice the glass eye when I came back home, but they didn't. And in their defense, I probably wouldn't notice either. It looks so real, it's crazy. I got like the highest quality glass eye that's out there. I mean, this thing is a work of art, and it's not just my parents who don't know. Nobody from my hometown knows. I'm in the process of making the big reveal to them, but I don't want to. But I want to do it in a funny way. Any suggestions? Let me know about it. Masters Lacquer says, "Wait until Halloween to dress up as the pirate that keeps losing his eyes from the Pirates of the Caribbean." My right away says, "When the dude finally confesses to his parents, they will be irate." Irate. Um, Mecha Verdant says, "Hopefully they see eye to eye during that conversation." Shamrock Barney Stone said, "I had a customer in my bar who had a glass eye. Not only did only we did not know. One night after they were playing Laird's poker, where you use the numbers of a dollar bill, he said he was having trouble reading the numbers. He popped his eye out, put it up to the bill, and read all of them off as clear as a bell. We felt the wang out as he started to become more regular customer. I always had to remember to check his pint glass because sometimes he would leave his eye in there while he drank. Great party trick. That's sick. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's gross." East Gold said, "Pop it out and hand it to them." Yvonne Gogo says, my mom did that with her glass eye to my ex-boyfriend. She didn't like one bit. He knew she had a glass eye and when she put it in a jar, but it was more power move if I ever saw one." Wilted Wonderful said, "Was it coupled with I can't even look at you right now." Oh my god, that's so funny. Jason says, "The only thing worse than the obvious fake stories on this sub is the number of commenters unable to identify if they're fake." I know someone who lost an eye this past year, and it was definitely not something you would be able to keep from your family. The number of surgeries, rehab, emotional, physical damage, etc., is hard to even grasp. It depends. The way that guy described it, you could probably get away with very little surgery because he did it directly in the eye. Whereas my niece's fiance lost his very dramatically, and it's taking a lot longer to fix up. They said it was really weeks before they were fitted for a prosthetic, but they're not rich and are still recovering months later. That is with the support of large family and friends. Not necessarily. Not if they're saying that the parents' insurance would have gotten billed, but not if he had insurance through the school. They wouldn't, and that's the thing that happens. Well, P says it's 100% true. I believe him. Best of Redditor updates me, 30 female, with my boyfriend, 34 male, of 2 years, thinking breaking up due to his nieces and nephews. Um, Trigger warning for entitlement harassment. And where was the original post from? The original post is from relationships. Original post, May 14th, 2015. I will try to keep this short. It's not short. Saying. I will try to keep this short. I have been with Dallas, 34 male, for 2 years. I met him through my sister, Lilo, 36 female, and her husband, Corbin, 35 male, or 45 male. Issue. Here's the problem. While I enjoy spending time with Dallas, he seems to view us as married already. He refers to my animals as his pets to people, although I've asked him not to. Okay, well, that's not good. That's not good. They're not his pets and never will be. Okay, that's not a good attitude. That is not a good attitude. He views my home, which I pay for myself, as our future home. That seems normal. I've been honest about how I view my future. This means my house is my house, my pets are my pets, and I do not intend to get married or have children. Oh, well, there's your problem. There's your problem right there. You have no intention of concreting this relationship. And that's okay if you don't want to do that, but does Dallas know that? Is Dallas really aware of that? I'm gonna lift this up a bit. I'm hiding my flags. I probably shouldn't, but I am. I've also told him how uncomfortable small children make me, and I don't allow them in my home. Okay, you're just weird. You're just weird, OP. Dallas has always been honest about his own life and seemed to understand these were things I was not willing to compromise on at all. 2 days ago, I was at Dallas's house and he was talking to his sister Jean, 40 female, about her visiting with her kids. She asked him to watch them for a week while she headed to Vegas. He told her Zorg and Diva. Zorg 5 male and Diva 7 female and Plavalguna. I ain't making up weird names for people. 9 female are welcome in our home anytime. Bring them by the week we get back from our vacations. We're going to Canada for a week. Since they were hanging out at his place when they called, I assumed he meant his townhouse. When he hung up, he said, I need to go to the grocery shopping for the kids. Uh, Plava is apparently really picky eater and has to be on gluten free because of the special autism diet her mother has her on. Diva and Plava are both special needs. Okay. I mean, I understand why you wouldn't want them at your house, but did you make that really clear? I told him I would help him shop, but I was busy most of the week and didn't want to have time to entertain his kids. They're not his kids, his nephews, his nibblings. He started saying like I won't let them bother the kiddies too much. They can play in the pool. It's a koi pond, so no, they cannot. There's so much room they can play in the backyard with the dogs and not be bothered. This just sounds made up. I'm sorry. I told him didn't want the kids to stay over at all. They could stay at his house. He has enough room, and there is a park around the corner. I've always been clear about this. He seemed to laugh it off. He didn't even discuss having them come over with me, just ignored every conversation we had about me disliking kids under the age of 10 and not doing well with special needs. I've told him about how angry this makes me. We had a conversation about it, but he isn't relenting. I'm confused. I just feel like he doesn't listen and doesn't care about my property desires and needs. He just wants to show off to his sister. Why? He I feel he didn't earn having a house with a yard, and he didn't save up to have a house he is proud of. Instead, he spends all his money on hobbies. I don't want my house to be destroyed by 3 kids, and I don't want to have them over. I would like some advice on how to handle this advice. Relevant comments from a deleted person. Oh, you two sound very different. It sounds like he's looking for a family kind of woman, kids or no. You two don't sound very compatible from this description. And OLP says, I guess we aren't after all. OSP responding to a comment. That says you clearly you have different expectations of where this relationship is going. And to him, I can't tell whether it's because you haven't discussed it properly recently or because you haven't discussed it and neither of you have changed or you have discussed it and neither of you have changed your view or compromised at all. If the former, you might want to sit down with him and talk to about how, for example, you decided to move together into your house is still your house and it's not his place to invite people to stay over for a week. And I mean, if he has his own house, I can understand that. if the f- I've explained this to him and he has tried before when we were first together. Well, that's a long time ago. His buddy and wife were coming to town to watch the Super Bowl and he offered up my living room. I was going to be out of town and I said I was not comfortable making my house a party place. I dislike messes and sports and did not have cable. I use it to play DVDs and I'm not going to purchase cable for one event. He got upset but dropped it soon after. I didn't think it would come up again. As an aside, well, that was one specific incident and you don't expect it to come up again. It's a specific incident. I didn't know specific incidents, covered everything everywhere all the time. As an aside, whether or not this is quoted again, as an aside, whether or not you have discussed with him what your expectations for the relationship are, I would expect that unless you had explicitly told him otherwise, he should treat a house he doesn't own and isn't paying rent on and doesn't live in as not his. It strikes me as bizarre at best that he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. She said, I have told him the house would never be ours. I said we would never get married. The house would belong to me, and I would be the one to make all the major choices in the home. He doesn't like the color of the walls of my bedroom. He has asked if we can repaint them when I move in. I told him the house wouldn't be repainted a new color because I like it. My ideal match would have his own house and he would stay at, and we would do a couple things together but have our own space. Okay, that's unrealistic. No man is going to do that, man. I wouldn't want to do that. As a long-term thing, that's completely unrealistic if you want to have a relationship. And it's expensive as heck. Update June 5th, 2015, 3 weeks later. I have been as crossed out and was with Dallas, 34 male, for 2 years. I met in, okay, summary thing. The long of it, Dallas and I broke up. Good for Dallas. Good for Dallas. I'm so happy for him. We were broke up for about a week and then he called and begged me back. I gave him a chance stupidly. It lasted 2 days and now I'm done with him for good and he keeps calling me. So block him. The first fight was over the original issue. When he called to apologize, he said he would ask next time, and that was the end of it. We wouldn't talk about it again, I guess. We both assumed we were right and that the other person would relent. The last fight came when I heard Dallas was hosting a barbecue for Lilo, his sister, and her husband Corbin, the week the kids were going to be there. It was for Corbin's work friends for his promotion. It was to be all adults. I guess Corbin had bragged about my koi pond. He has a few fish he bought in there. So you're sharing your koi pond, but you won't share your house. And he helps me with it. So his friends wanted to see it, and I said it was fine as long as they did the dishes when they were done. I hate dishes. I offered to help cook. I told Dallas about it, and he said he would bring the kids. I told him there was going to be no kids because it was work related and not really super casual. Sounds really super casual to me. He got really upset. Then he told me that it would be a lot of work to bring the kids to his house when they could just chill out at my house and not bother people. I asked him why he thought the kids would be there at all. He told me because you agreed to have them. I don't think she did, but I also don't believe her for a minute. I told him that was not happening. He was not invited to the barbecue and we are not going to Canada. Well, I was, he wasn't. I have a friend who agreed to stay in my house while I was gone and went on my trip to my sister. So now I'm single. The barbecue was great. Dallas had stopped by several times to trying to talk to me. I threatened to call the police on him. He still writes me long, sobbing messages on Facebook, even though I blocked him. He keeps using his friends' accounts to do it. So that's the end of the drama. Thank you for the advice and everything. If you have anything you might like to useful, I can use tips and tricks or whatever you called ditching a crazy ex. Yeah. Balzar says, yeah, it obviously wasn't about the niece and nephew. It was obvious that the problem was before the kids even entered the story yet. 100%. Zap Danigan says they're so incompatible. I wonder how this went past the second date. Um, Various Froyo says, I think a lot of people are straight up bad at applying logic to things like dating. Second top priority comment is Pink of Buttery Mom says the fifth element names are sending me. That's where I knew. I'm so Strawberry on the Bear says I'm so glad somebody else is also affected because holy crap, peace and love to little baby Pevlaguna. Sorry, your uncle sucks. I don't think the uncle sucks. I think the girlfriend sucked. Captain Delicious Pants says, how the wang does somebody mistake a koi pond for a pool? Healthy Maximus says, I'm stuck on how multiple friends let him use their Facebook accounts to get past her blocking him. If one of my close friends is asking for that, I'd sit him down and have a long chat about what a bad idea it is. It's from Made Me Smile, and it is entitled Wholesome Inclusion. It's not a video for once, it's just a meme. The r/bald subreddit is an example of Wholesome body positivity. Every post is a person showing they're clearly past to the point of no return, thinning hair, and asking, "Is it time?" And the top reply is always this image. Because it should always be that image. All right, that's all I got for today. I hope you guys have a good weekend or a good rest of your weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday, of course. Last day, so it's the best of the month, so you should watch. You should be watching best of the month, best of the month, best of the month. Top rated posts, top rated posts all the way down. It's like turtles. All right. Oh, cute. I can't show you, but it's cute. There's a meerkat on my screens as my screensaver or a screen thing. I don't know what they're called. I'm bad at remembering names of things. So take care. Um, have a good day. Bye. I love you all. Have a good day. Bye. Bye.